visionaries. Welcome to another Monday Night Live training, where your journey to business success accelerates. Join us for insights, strategies, and tools to elevate your business while keeping your budget in mind. It's time to transform your passion into profit. Your host, Corey Bill Costa, is about to take the stage. Get ready to be inspired and empowered. The future of your business starts now.
All right. Oh, I forgot to take this off. There I am. But hey, guys, welcome back. Happy Monday Night Live. I should say happy Monday and welcome to Monday Night Live. All right, we're doing good. 6:01. I was like, are we on time today? We are. I hit the button on time. But hope you guys have been having an amazing start to your week. I actually went away this weekend. I got to work face-to-face with a client working on a book. That was super cool. I always say, I have the privilege, the honor to be able to work virtually 90% of the time, but I do like being able to work face-to-face and hands-on. It is just a different feel, and it's nice. I'm actually planning some more trips this year so that I can meet more of you in person and do different things, but it was fun, and it was also great to get away. If you're a mom and a wife, you already know, but it was nice to get away and just only have to worry about myself for a couple of days. But I got back yesterday, and I'm super excited to be here with you guys. If you're watching on whatever platform you're watching, if you're watching this live or you're watching the replay, definitely tell me hello. Let me know you're here because I always want to be engaged. I want to see who is enjoying the content. I want to learn more about you guys and where you're from. So definitely tell me, hey, if you are watching this. All right, let me get my notes out, y'all, because I already know I'm tired today. I told you, I thought about it last year. I said, oh my gosh, can we move Monday Night Live to a different night? And I thought, and then I was like, no, we're going to keep them on Mondays. But sometimes your girl is tired. The time changed. I went out of town, and I had to be a mom today. Took my son to a whole nother city for a doctor's appointment for them to really not even look at him. We just needed refills, but I'm exhausted just from that. Came right back home, did a coaching session, cooked dinner, and then prepared for you guys. Like that's been my day. so bear with me, but it's okay. All right, let's pull up the slides because y'all know I will talk. And hello for anybody who's new. I know we got some new people in our private community. Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about leadership lessons, and I'm not going to be talking about specific female entrepreneurs or specific female leaders, but I put together a list of some of the key qualities that I have seen across the board. Like, I think it's so important to see patterns and to see best practices and then to utilize that for your own personal growth. So that's kind of what we're doing today. But before we dive into the topic, I always like to talk about the company. If you're not familiar, my company's called iRock Marketable Business Solutions. We've been around for some years now. Like, we're not new to this, we're true to this. And we really focus on supporting coaches and consultants as they start, run, and scale their small businesses, but we do it while keeping their budgets in mind. I always like to say on a shoestring budget, but it's a relative term. So keeping their budget in mind, keeping their resources in mind, keeping their current skill set, their team size in mind. We are really a place where we understand where you are now. I think so often as you go into different programs or get different providers to help you grow your business, they have their thing, right? They have their system, their thing, and they want to sell you all these other products to do whatever the goal is that they're trying to help you achieve. But one thing that I really love about how our company was founded, we want to help you utilize what you already have, what you already have access to, and let that be the starting point. Yes, we give you recommendations. We have some software that we really like, and we have vendors that we've used and we've loved and we can refer, but at the end of the day, we really focus on what can you do right now to get started, to move forward within your budget, within your skill set, comfortably and confidently to move to the next point. And as we grow together, you are able to utilize more things, invest in more things, get exposure, learn, and grow those types of ways. So that's kind of I think is a different thing about our company versus other companies you may have worked with in the past or been exposed to. A little bit about me. Hi again. I'm Corey Fama Foster. I am the CEO of iRock Marketable Business Solutions, but I'm also a speaker. I'm a trainer. I'm a certified business coach. I'm the lead coach on our coaching side of the company. I absolutely love it. I could not imagine myself doing anything else. I love to talk about my story, not just because I like hearing myself talk, but more importantly, I think it's important to know where people are coming from, where's their perspective. I love connecting with other entrepreneurs, but I find that the people who I'm able to grow with the most are people who have experienced entrepreneurship in a way similar to me. I find it hard sometimes to connect with individuals that maybe were gifted money, had great credit, maybe were able to just jump to entrepreneurship 100% and, have support from someone, whatever the case may be. I came into entrepreneurship in a very, what I call, non-traditional way. I actually started off in the medical field and loved that. Thought I would stay there forever. Thought I would climb in there. I started off like bottom, and no shade to anybody who's there now, but I did a lot of like home care, CNA type work. I then went back to school. I got my medical assistance degree, and then I went back to school, and I was actually about 3 credits shy of getting my registered nursing degree before my eye condition caused me to have to quit working and quit school. My end goal was to become a nurse practitioner or physician assistant. But yeah, people had other plans, right? The universe had other plans for me, which is fine. Like I said, I love being an entrepreneur, and I'm self-taught. And self-taught is a weird term, I think, is when I think of it as like I did it all myself, but I didn't. I'm self-taught in the way that I don't have a business degree, but I definitely was able to tap into some amazing coaching programs, workshops, webinars, courses, mentors, and the list goes on and on. Of course, just learning while doing skills. And so I want to encourage you, if this sounds like part of your story, like, hey, I don't necessarily have the business degree, but I got a life degree, right? You're an expert in something, you have something you want to monetize. If that sounds like you, then you're probably in the right place. All right, just in case you're unfamiliar with what types of things our company offers, this is not to sell you anything. I just like to have this slide here because it's important for me to just tell you what it is that we do. How do we support our amazing clients? We have things from coaching programs to consulting packages. We do marketing work on our marketing side, anything from stuff as simple as a logo, website, landing page, video editing, all the way up to full service social media marketing. We also have some amazing virtual assistants who are already trained, ready to go in the areas of marketing, like digital marketing and admin. And we're just here to support you. At the end of the day, we're just here to support you. So if you ever need something in any of these areas, feel free to reach out. And sorry if you're hearing my dog. I'm sitting here like, oh. It's one of those things. My dog is having a field day downstairs, but we're going to press on regardless. So what are we talking about today? And I'm going to make myself bigger because there's really no reason to make myself this small on the screen. But we're going to be talking about, first of all, for the month of March, because if you've been paying attention, if you've been here for a while, you know that in 2024, we decided we were going to have themes every month. Hope y'all are enjoying the themes. January was like goals, planning type of thing. February was branding, all about brand identity. What is a brand? Parts of the brand, how to build your brand, tell your narrative, all that stuff. Well, for this month, for what are we doing for March? That's how you know I work in marketing. We're already working on projects months out. So I'm like, what month are we in? For March, we are going to be talking about the women. And it's not saying that if you're not a woman that you can't enjoy this content. We just decided to have a month to dedicate to women in business, women entrepreneurs. And so last month, I shouted out some of my amazing female clients. Shout out to you guys. And I tagged them. So if you're in the private community, you can go back to last week's session and watch it. And you actually can see the tag so you can connect with them. I already know through the grapevine that some people have reached out to a few folks. So shout outs to you guys. But this week, we're really going to be focusing on some qualities that I think you should have. Now, I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not a mindset coach. I'm like, let's get it done. But we do have to sometimes go back to the foundation to understand perhaps why we're not as successful as we want to be, or why we are really struggling to make headway in our business, or why it feels like it's every day is an uphill climb. There are just some characteristics, some qualities that make for a successful entrepreneur. And today, specifically, we're talking about women. But truth be told, this can apply to pretty much anybody. So, first, I want to talk about some of those leadership qualities. And we're not going to harp on these. I think everyone who ever comes to our Monday Night Lives is a very educated individual, but we're just going to talk about them briefly. If for some reason you guys want to go in depth on anything that I discussed, as always, you can reach out, you can comment, we can start a conversation. Totally fine with that. But some things that I think are important for us as female entrepreneurs to have are things like resilience. Resilience is so important. When I go to do like kid programs and I talk about entrepreneurship, I always talk about resilience, because entrepreneurship is hard. And I get that sometimes, people want us to just go and talk about all the great things. Ooh, I get to set my own hours and I get to set my own pay and I get to do something I love. But also it's super hard and it's super lonely and it can be super stressful. You can get knocked down so many times in entrepreneurship. You can, like, you love something so much just for somebody not to buy it, or for a campaign not to go the way you thought, or for someone not to pay you, or whatever the case may be. And you got to be resilient. You got to be able to bounce back when things like that happen, right? Setbacks have to be something to launch you forward. If you plan to be successful, if you're someone who, the minute something happens that you didn't expect and you crumble, then entrepreneurship isn't for you. It's just what it is. And if you are naturally that type of way and you're like, but I really want to be an entrepreneur, then you're going to have to build up those resilience muscles. You're going to have to say, I can't let things big or small stop me from getting to where I want to be. Period. Right? You got to be able to maintain focus. You got to be able to see past that challenge. I did a podcast with, who was it? It was recent. Tierra Nicole Riley. There we go. And she actually was on my original podcast, and we just recorded her again. She'll be on season 3. And we were talking about how you almost know something great is coming when life starts to just go crazy, right? Just everything, your family's acting up, you got a 9 to 5, your 9 to 5's acting up, the car breaks down, like the universe is throwing every freaking thing at you besides the kitchen sink, and you are just struggling. And I told her, and she was telling me like she used to freak out when that happened. I said, I did too. I thought it was just me, but I used to be so distraught, like, oh my gosh, I thought this was my moment, but obviously it's not. And it's like, no, what I've learned through just going through that so many times is when stuff starts to get crazy, now I start to smile. I start to get so hyped because I'm like, oh, it's about to go down. Like something great's about to happen, because I know that it's almost like it's making sure I'm ready for it, right? Making sure I'm ready for that next stage, that next evolution. And so all the crazy things happen because I always say the universe, but whatever you believe in, is like, okay, are you sure you're ready? Are you sure you're ready? Because this is going to be big. And so all this stuff happens. It's like, once I get out of that, it's like, wow, like something always happens bigger than I ever could imagine. An opportunity, a payday, a new experience. It's crazy. It always happens that way. And so sometimes it's just changing your mindset to realize, like, yes, challenges come, but they're not always a negative thing. Oftentimes the biggest challenges that I face always lead to something amazing. Like one of the biggest challenges that I still am going through is my eyesight. And when I tell you, had it not been for my eye issue, there would have been no reason for me to have ever leaned into my coaching chops and become a coach and go into entrepreneurship. It would have been no reason. And it's not that I would have been like, I don't think I would have hated my job, but I would have never reached the potential that I have now, possibly even the financial way of my life. And so just right now, the way things are setting up, I don't even think I would have that ability had I stayed where I was. Because there's nothing to say that I would have gone to becoming a nurse practitioner or a physician assistant. Like I could have just been, and would have been fine being a medical assistant as well, or a registered nurse. And that income ain't the same. And so even outside of money, just the fulfillment part is like, if I wouldn't have gone through that, it's just I wouldn't be here. If I wouldn't have gone through how I got into entrepreneurship, I wouldn't be here, right? All of those struggles. I tell people when I go into detail about my story, is like, yeah, I actually hadn't talked to a blind person before I went through my whole go home, go blind situation with my doctors. And I didn't think that they could work. I literally was in such like despair. I was in such a dark place, and it was like I could have just sat there. I could have not been resilient. I could have said, well, it is what it is. But because I was able to see that there was light on the other side of the tunnel and keep pushing through, right? Know that, you may not know exactly where you're going, but you're like, I know there's something over there. Because of that, I'm able to be here. And I'm not saying that you got to hit rock bottom or have this horrible something happen to you, but regardless, if you're in business, something's going to happen. Like, it's not going to be rosy days every day. And I don't want you to be sidetracked by those things, right? Bottom line, do not be sidetracked by those things. Also, a really good quality for a successful woman entrepreneur to have is emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is a trigger word for some. I don't know why, but it is. And I think it's just so important. Having an emotional intelligence, being able to, in my opinion, the definition, kind of being able to hear more than you speak, being able to actually, in a healthy way, collaborate, support, communicate with others, um, is just so important. To have empathy, to have sympathy. I know emotional intelligence, has its own big bag of things of what it is, but it's just important as a female entrepreneur, because you are going to be juggling a lot of things. And if you go into every day with baggage of whatever, and you're not open to listening, if you're not open to growing, if you're not open to healthy ways to communicate and boundaries, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle. And so I think it's one of the, if not one of the most important qualities for a female entrepreneur to have. Something else is important. You got to be a visionary. You got to be a visionary. And I'm not saying that everyone out here is reinventing the wheel. However, you have to be able to see what isn't even in front of you yet. Like, it's not materialized. You have to be able to say, this is where I know I can go, or my team is going to go. This is who I know that I can help, even if you can't put your hands on it. It's just so important. If we only act on what we can see right now, that is going to severely limit us as we progress in our businesses. And so it's important to say, you know what, I'm a visionary. I know this is gonna work. That's why I'm putting this out here. And I'm not saying you're acting without data, because that ain't what I believe. But I am saying that sometimes you have to see past the reality of now to the reality of tomorrow, to the potential of next week, to the future of next year, right? Sometimes we just have to see past it so that we can set the vision, make it plain for our team, for our family, um, for anybody who's involved in our business, so that they can all rise to that occasion and help us get to where we want to go. But somebody has to set the tone, and that has to be you. Another important quality you can have is adaptability. I've talked about this many, many times. Being able to adjust and pivot is so, so, so crucial, because again, things happen, and if you're so, just structured in what you do, you're gonna have a hard time, right? Because yes, you can set up this amazing system. Say you have this great funnel planned out for your business. You can plan it, but then when you actually run it and you see, oh, it's a hiccup here, or it's a hiccup there, or this could be better, you have to be willing to adjust and make those changes in real time. It's not a next time, it's a right now. I tell my clients when we're working together, hey, here's a script, but let's test it. Let's see how it works, because everybody's different. And so I'm like, you have to be willing to adjust. Don't think you're going to make this script or this email campaign or this landing page and never touch it again. We're going to do our best the first time around, of course, but then we're going to put it out there. We're going to get feedback. We're going to look at how it performs. We're going to make sure that nothing in the way we are doing things changes. And then we're going to adjust as needed. That is one of the hallmarks of a really great and successful entrepreneur, is that adaptability, being open to it. If it hurts every time you have to make an adjustment, you got to either change your mindset or get up on out of here, because it's going to be really hard for you. I have to make changes all the time. I wanted to start an email campaign 2 weeks ago. it's probably going to start sometime this week. You'll see it. But you know what I mean? Like, it's okay. I wanted to do promo videos. I wanted to record them a couple weeks ago, recorded them last week. They're going to get edited. You're going to see them. But I had to be open to that flexibility. Simple as that. And that's just the way it is. Some other things, you got to have confidence. And I know sometimes this can be hard because we're human and we have things like imposter syndrome just nipping at us every single day. I too still get imposter syndrome. I don't think it's fair to make it seem like we just overcome some of these things that are challenges to our success. I think that if we are honest with ourselves, more than likely we learn to manage these things and to not let them detract from what we're trying to do. I definitely still to this day find myself in places and have to check myself. Like, I'm not going to let it sit there, but I do have to check myself and say, why do I feel like I don't belong? Right? Why do I feel this way? And oftentimes, usually personally for me, it's because of the way the people that I help now are just so highly educated, not in like, oh, they're smart, but educated. Like, they have walls with a whole bunch of degrees. And I'm not saying that doesn't make them smart. I'm just saying that there is a difference between smart and educated. I myself, while I do have a degree on the wall, I'm still a very smart person with or without my degree. But sometimes when I get around others, whether they think so or not, my brain is like, are they going to think that I know what I'm talking about because I don't have a degree? Like, I don't have a business degree. And I have to check myself, and I check myself quickly and frequently and say, girl, bye. That's how I talk to myself. I don't know how you talk to yourself, but I say, girl, bye. Why does that matter? Like, you've been doing business for years. You've helped people with six degrees. They got master's degrees, doctorate, like they got all the degrees, right? And you were able to help them grow their business. They didn't know what you knew because they don't operate in your zone of genius. I have to tell myself that. And you need to get in the habit of checking yourself as well and saying, girl, bye. Like, why are you out here doubting your amazingness? Why are you out here thinking that somebody could do it better than you? Like, no, you have a calling on your life. You're amazing. You deserve to be here. You deserve the opportunity. That's how you should be talking to yourself. And a great, successful entrepreneur will do just that. You need to operate in integrity. All right, whatever that means to you, boo, but you need to operate in integrity because you are the face of your brand. And if people can't trust that what you say you do, then you are going to struggle because all it takes is a couple folks. Sometimes not even a couple, it takes one or two folk, right? One person to say, oh, they lied. They did this, they did that. Let people find out that it's true. People are not going to be cool doing business with you. They're not going to be referring people to you. So it's so important that you operate in integrity so that no one can sit here and say that you did not keep your word. Now, does that get sticky sometime in business? Yes, because the truth is not always clear in a sense of maybe you said you were going to provide a product or service to a client, right? Let's say as a group coaching program, right? Maybe you got tiers. So let's say you got a course, a group coaching program, and a one-on-one program, because I know most of you have those things in your programs. It's clearly stated. I had this happen to a client. Not my personal client, but a client of mine had this happen to her. Someone went through, looked at her service suite, and they wanted to be in a group coaching program. I believe it was a mastermind at the time. And they had a meeting, you do your consultation call. The lady wanted to be in that program. She knew she needed it. You know how you get them to say yes, 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 yes. She knew she needed it. It was going to benefit her. It was a great structure. Like, she was a great candidate for that program, but she couldn't afford it at the time. No worries. My client said, no worries. It happens. When you're ready, you can get in the program. But the lady was like, no, but I really, really, really want to be in the program. And she was like, well, we have a course, but it doesn't give you any access to me. You still get some information, but you don't get access to me. And she made it very clear. The lady said, okay, well, I'm going to use it. I'm going to get started. Like, I need to get started today. Cool. Of course, fast forward, lady gets in the program and she's emailing questions. Oh, could you talk to me about this? Could you explain that? Can you clarify this? No, I can't. And it got to the point, and I think I was kind of early on, not super early, but probably in my first year or two in this business. And I remember my client was like, I told her I'd give her money back. And I was like, what? What you mean? She's like, I told her she could have her money back because I'm not about to deal with that. And I was like, the hard part, and this is why I put this to the integrity, that individual could have been so soured by the experience. Where she went and was like, oh yeah, don't work with that person because she, said that her product did X, Y, and Z, and she wouldn't even help me and all this stuff. But Lord and behold, it was clear that that wasn't something she was entitled to. But that's why I said it's not always plain, because people will feel how they feel. And so all we can do from that scenario, right? All we can do as entrepreneurs is just do our best, right? I always feel like the truth will win in the end, but I don't want you guys to think that that doesn't mean people are going to say what they want to say, because they do. But my client was really great. She was like, hey, you can have a refund, or like I told you before, you don't have access to me. The lady was like, no, I totally get it, and went on about her merry way. All right. So integrity is important. Communication skills goes back to that emotional intelligence. Having great communication skills. I get that some of you who are watching this right now may be a solo entrepreneur. You may not have a team, but you also communicate with yourself, right? I need you to communicate to yourself with kindness. And then as you start to network, as you start to collab, as you start to grow your team, keep that same kindness as you communicate with others. And we'll talk more about communication in a moment. But it's just important to be able to clearly, concisely, and in a kind way communicate. I hope my husband isn't watching this, but he probably is. My husband was just talking to me earlier today, and he had an incident where he was communicating with someone for work purposes in an email. And y'all, I think men are a little different, and that's why we talked about women this week. But I was like, dude, did you see what? Because he was like, did you see what that man emailed me? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, he was just so upset about it. He was like, and I said, but did you see what you emailed him? Because he sent me, I said, send me the whole thread. I'm not somebody who's going to let you just tell me what's going on. Send me the whole thread. And I was like, but did you see what you wrote? He was like, well, my husband sent like a one sentence kind of like, look, type of email. And of course, the man responded in not the greatest tone, but it was still professional. And so I actually drafted my husband a follow up email. He's like, that doesn't sound like me. And I said, but it should. But it should. Like, don't get mad at me if he's watching this, but I said, but it should, because we have to rise above. No matter, I have had clients, woo, child, I've had clients, potential clients, potential collaborators who have talked to me, whether it be on the phone, whether it be in a Zoom call, whether it be through email. And I had to be like, who they talking to? Who they talking to? And you don't ever want to be the person that somebody's doing that with. Some of it has to do, and again, shout outs to some of my old clients, because I worked with a client once, and she had referred me to someone, and the lady, I guess, didn't like how I communicated. And my client kind of had to check her and be like, you communicate kind of harshly, because I think the lady thought that maybe I was dismissive. But she was explaining to the lady, like, Corey's from Virginia. So she just kind of like, first I'm matter of fact, but also I'm just like, all right, like Southern hospitality, like, okay, whatever. Like, it's no skin off my back one way or the other. But I guess they were from New York, so they wanted more like this passionate discussion. I don't have time for the passionate discussion. And so she brought that to that person's attention. They were like, oh, okay. And we realized, like, certain people that I work with, I'm like, we can't have certain conversations via email or text. We have to have phone calls. I also had a client once, and shout out if you watch this, I ain't gonna call your name out, but she was like, I get people, think I'm rough because, I'm from Africa. And I was like, stop saying that. I said, because she wasn't being rough. She was advocating for herself. But oftentimes as women, we get told, especially brown skin, Black identifying women, we get told that we are aggressive so much that we think we have to change our communication to fit them. And that's not what I'm saying in this at all. I'm saying that we should try our best to have great communication skills. However, we do need to realize that people are people. We are people as well. And sometimes things just do not come across the way we think they are. And I just give people grace. As long as ain't nobody truly raising their decimals with me, we can probably find a middle ground. I'm very okay with advocating for myself if it gets crazy. But I'm also, because I communicate with so many people across so many different regions, I'm definitely okay with being like, hey, let's hop on a call for clarity. Let's hop on a clarity call. Cause woo child. Also I have freelancers who are from different areas where I especially in the interview process, I get called Mr. all the time. One, because my name is Corey, but most of the time it's because business owners where these people live are mostly men. So they'll be like, Mr. this, Mr. that. So you have to, as an entrepreneur, not take things to heart when it comes to communication, but also rise above. We need to be the example. I can't be out here yelling, getting froggy with my clients, neck twisting. I can do that when we get off the call. Believe me, sometimes I have moments like, ah. But while I'm communicating with potential clients, current clients, past clients, freelancers, team members, I have to have a bit of um, just a bit of back to emotional intelligence. I have to have a bit of class about myself as I communicate, and I encourage you all to do the same. And it's not always easy. I get it because people be saying stuff, and you're like, you know what I mean? But we got to do what we can do. So we'll hop off that because I could talk about communication forever. Shout out to my husband if he's watching because he's been watching. Thank you for your support, baby. But he's been watching me lately. He's gonna get me for that story. But it did happen, and I think it was a good example, a real time example of communication. Collaboration is also a really great skill to have or to cultivate. If you think that you are going to do this thing called entrepreneurship alone, more power to you, but it is not going to work. It's not going to work like that. I'm just going to be honest. I used to say it's probably not, but it's not. I haven't met a entrepreneur yet who will say that they did it all alone. It just doesn't happen. And I'm not saying that somebody has to hold your hand through the whole process, but really good entrepreneurs are always looking for sources of motivation, inspiration, and education. Thus, they are connecting with other individuals, whether it be through networking, through collaboration opportunities, through coaches, mentors, board members, whatever the case may be. We need community. We need a tribe. We need people to be a soundboard, to give us advice, to help us when we're struggling, to cheer us on when we're doing well, whatever the case may be. And so if you're out here trying to be this solo person that did it all by themselves, you're really going to struggle. And until you decide to get help, to get support, to find your folk, it's going to be very hard. And if you don't decide to do that, you're eventually going to give up because it's going to be too hard. This is not a process that's meant for one person to do entirely alone, whether you're a solo entrepreneur or not. All right. I got two more qualities that I want to touch on. Then we're gonna move on because I don't want to be talking forever to you guys because I know this isn't our typical talk, but I think it's important sometimes, like I said earlier, is to just kind of jump back to mindset and really talk about some foundational pieces. We'll talk more about some strategy things in future months, so don't worry. But some other things to think about: being a great decision maker. I've worked with a lot of new entrepreneurs, and they really struggle in this area because they just second guess themselves a lot. Again, that imposter syndrome is in. They feel like I don't know. I had a client once to be like, I don't know what I don't know, and it's like sometimes like, do you think that we know everything? Actually, I was on a call with a client today who was trying to get me to make something for her, and I was asking her questions, but she didn't have the answer to what I needed. And so I Googled it. She's like, how did you find that? And I was like, I Googled it. She was like, I never thought of that. And I was like, yeah, people think that I think people do when they talk to me think I just know everything. And my assistant's always telling people I know everything. But I am not afraid to go look up an answer. I'm not afraid to I don't care if we're on a call. We were on a coaching call. Google, what is this? I'll ask Alexa, I ask whoever, somebody, tag a friend. Like I'm going to ask and I'm going to figure it out because I know the answer's out there. But I'm not going to be too big or too bold and think I'm all that to not be like, hey, let me ask for help. And so as an entrepreneur, you're going to have to stand your ground, stand on business and make decisions. Yes, please let them be data driven decisions. Please not let them be solely based on emotions and just randomness, but you're going to have to make some decisions. You're going to have to make some tough calls. You're going to have to decide if your business is going right or if it's going left. You're going to have to decide if you want to, maintain or grow. You're going to have to decide what products coming out, when, where, how. You're going to be making decisions constantly. And as you scale, you're going to make more decisions, because that's literally mostly what your life is about as the CEO, is decision making. Everybody else is doing the work. They're the worker bees, but the queen bee is the decision maker. And she's just, yes, no, no, next. And that's literally what it is. I love those days when I can just point it out, because when I have to actually do the stuff, it gets kind of monotonous. So be open and be okay with being a decision maker. Like, you're the boss, you know. Just go ahead and resolve to it. Say, yes, I am. You're the boss. You're the expert. If nobody told you, you're the boss. Make some decisions, and be open to really thinking strategically as you go through your business. Again, we don't want you to be totally about emotions. And I get sometimes you're just like, I love this product or I love this target audience, but we have to be the amazing business owners that we are, right? These women in business. And we have to base what we do on strategy, on data, on results, right? There are so many things that I would love to do that my audience doesn't buy. I did a live, I don't know, sometime last week, I think it was. I was talking about our new academy and why we did it. And I was talking about like the pricing and different things. I would love for everything to be able to be free. But I know people don't come to stuff that's free, so that's a no, right? And then I also know that I can't afford to do what I do if I give it all for free. So sometimes we have to just think strategically and say, okay, I get that it would be nice in a perfect world, and if people really was like, hey, if I want to grow, I'm going to go to this and give it my all, and that, somehow money would fall out of the sky and bills would be magically paid. Like, I get that that's like that would be the perfect world, but it's not the world we live in. And so in this world, I do the best I can. I use strategy, I use data, I use results, I pivot and adjust as needed, and we get it done. And I encourage you guys to do the same. All right, so let's talk strategy, because again, I'm all about telling you to do stuff, the idea of it, but we got to know strategy, because without strategy, it doesn't work. So as you guys grow as leaders within your businesses, because that's what you are, again, whether you're a solo entrepreneur or you have a team, and whatever that looks like, whether you have just employees, whether you have just freelancers, whether you have just interns, I care not. You are a leader now, right this moment in your business. I want you to think of creating a safe space for yourself and others. And that's not just say physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, heck, any kind of way. And make it an inclusive place, right? Be an inclusive leader, meaning that you are going to adapt, right? And you're going to be what you need to be when you need to be that for the people you need to be that way with. Back in the day, I used to be a horrible leader. I'm gonna be honest. People would call me, I'd be in groups and they would call me a czar. Like, that's how bad I was. And it wasn't because I wanted to be. What would happen is people would ask me to be the leader. I just always got thrown in leadership positions, but I didn't have leadership skills. And so my thought was, all right, I'm gonna get them a moment to figure stuff out. Like, okay, everybody giving opinions or whatever, or not really, and it's just a mess. Nothing's happening. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give them a minute. And then I'm like, all right, time up. And then I would just take over and get it done. And we would get the projects done. I never have been a part of a group that wasn't successful. We would get it done. But did they enjoy it? No. Did I enjoy it? No. And so what I learned through one, trial and error, two, maturity, but also, truth be told, I joined Toastmasters. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but it's a nonprofit. It's a speaking and leadership organization. I was a Toastmaster for, I think, over 6 years. But I learned in that organization how to be a better leader. I was able to see it be modeled. I was able to get trained in it and to actually do it and learn as I went. That, I get people have their leadership style, right? Some people are just very like A-type personality. Some people are more passive. They want to collaborate. The key to leadership is to be what your team needs as they need it. There are going to be scenarios where, as an amazing businesswoman that you are, you're going to have to just take charge. We don't have time to discuss. We don't have time to figure out who's doing what. Like, this is what we're doing. This is the deadline. There are going to be times when you want to lean into your team's expertise. I have some amazing people on my team that specialize in what they do. And I love having projects where I can let them do them and shine, and I don't have to give tons of direction. those are times that, I'm able to be that type of leader. There are times when we are at the planning stages of something and I can get input from people, and it's a very low stress, low risk type of scenario. And I think that oftentimes, especially back in the day, I feel like we were taught like this is your leadership style. But in order to be inclusive, right, in order to really support everyone the way they need to be supported, we have to be what we need to be in that moment. And so again, there are days when I'm going to be this this way to highway, and there's days where I'm like, hey, let's brainstorm together, right? There are days when I might even give somebody else the time to lead, like, and I'll just sit back and kind of let that be. You have to be okay with that as a leader and be able to kind of be a chameleon and blend in where you need to fit in. All right. You need to be open to dialogue and different viewpoints, whether that's from your team, whether that's from your clients. It's so important. If you are very much like, I'm not hearing it, I feel the way I feel, you're going to struggle. You want to foster a community of respect and appreciation. How does that happen? Both ways. Both ways. I have worked with clients, I'm not gonna call no names, that I'm like, ugh, I don't like the way they really deal with folk, you know what I mean? Like their team. I like a little bit more kindness. And it's not that they're mean, it's just they're very just like direct. And it doesn't always have to be that way. And so you want to foster an understanding of respect, and a mutual appreciation. I try to take thank you to everybody I work with at least, regularly. It's funny though, because when I work with AI, I say thank you. My sister was like, "You tell AI thank you." I was like, "I do," because they did a they did a good job. But yeah, you want to have that feeling, because how would you feel if you gave your all the time and somebody never said thank you? Or you were super kind and respectful, but then you didn't feel like that was reciprocated. That's the key to success right there. Just treating people like you want to be treated, right? You want to have a diverse team of people. I've had to have conversations with individuals because they're like, you should just employ black women because you're a black woman, and we need jobs. I agree, we need jobs, but I am going to work with one, the people I can afford. I like to just be very transparent. People I can afford. I have some really cool people that I'm connected with that I could not afford. Like if I paid them, I would have to not pay several other people. And so that just doesn't work. Or I would have to raise my prices, which is usually the thing. Like, oh, raise your prices to be able to afford this. And it's like, no, the business is made on the fact that it's affordable. And I put it in quotes because, again, it's a very subjective term. But yeah, and so that's a no for some people. I also like to have people who are expertise in certain areas. So if you're not an expert in a certain area, you probably also can't work with me. I have men and women, um, people from different religious backgrounds, all of those things. And that's the way I like it, because it allows me to learn and grow as a person, but it also allows me to have a very diverse team that can support my very diverse needs of my clients. And so I get, sometimes we want to surround ourselves with people who look and think and act just like we do, but it's not always for the betterment of ourselves or our businesses. You want to provide opportunities for your team members, for your clients, and whatever that looks like, whatever makes sense for you, because that's a really good thing to do as a leader. I when I work, and I explain this because people ask me like, how did you have a team when you first started, or like when you got going? And I was really honest with my team. I started, my executive assistant now used to be my proofreader. Like, I get some of you are like, why did you need a proofreader? Because your girl cannot spell. But I knew I needed help. She started off as my proofreader, and as my business has grown, I just ask her, would you like to do this? Could you do this? We work it out. We've changed contracts mid-year. We've done all kind of things to now what she does. When my graphic designer started out, we started offering logos. Back then, oh my God, I think you could get a logo from us for like 40, $50 back in the day when we first started. It's not super high now, but I mean, it was crazy low back then. And that's all she did. She did logos. And then eventually I was like, hey, can you make a flyer? She was like, absolutely. And then I was like, can you do like video editing? She was like, heck yeah. And graphic design, I mean, she already could do all those things, but I initially only asked her for one thing. And now she is our lead graphic designer. Same with our web designer. Started off just doing a few landing pages for us, now does really big website projects, landing pages, all kind of stuff. And that's how we've been able to grow, and it keeps us like it keeps them loyal. I feel like they will work with me. If I have a client that really has a tight budget, sometimes we'll work stuff out and they're like, all right, I'll take care of it because it's you. Because we kind of come into understanding that, hey, I'm going to give you as much opportunity as I can to grow, to try new things. I've had people be like, hey, can I try this? Absolutely. Um, and that's just how we are. Like people are people, and I think sometimes we feel like we can't acknowledge that, and it's just like so strict. But people are people, and I think it's just important to be open to diversity on your team, diversity of thought, diversity of everything. But also, like I said, giving those opportunities to those people so that they want to stay with you, they want to work with you, because nobody wants to be stagnant in their job or in what they're doing in life. Make sure you're open to customer insights, feedback, ask for it, ask for it, ask for it. Um, Provide training if possible, whether that be with your team or with your clients, and then celebrate your wins together. Again, whether they're client wins, whether they are team wins, like people who work for you. And yeah, celebrate with them, big or small. Sometimes the biggest celebrations are for the smallest, what seem to be the smallest things, because they're hard, right? Like I love cheering for my clients when they kind of get past what I would call like a mental roadblock, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm an expert." I'm like, "Oh, you an expert now?" Like I'm so obnoxiously crazy when it comes to celebrating, but I think it's just so important that we do it, and oftentimes we get caught up in being a business owner that we don't do those things. All right. So this is the last category we're gonna talk about tonight because I already know I don't went long. We're gonna get through it real quick. And that's only because it's important to have balance, right? We can get caught up in business. I have done it. I think every business person I know has done it. It gives you tunnel vision, for lack of a better word. But we need to understand that with being the leader of our company, right? With having this role, being the CEO, the founder, whatever your title is, we also have to be equally a human. And so, yes, I'm telling you, yes, you need all these qualities, and yes, you need to be this amazing leader, but you also need to make sure that you're feeding yourself. We talked about pouring from an empty cup, and I think the new model for 2024 is not just, hey, we're not going to pour from an empty cup, we're only going to pour from our overflow, which means we have to do a really, really great job of taking care of ourselves on all the levels, again, physically, mentally, spiritually, and everything in between. How do we do that and still stay afloat and still be successful? Well, most amazing women in business understand that they have to be lifelong learners. I get you're an expert now. I claim that for you. But you have to be open to learning and growing. You have to be at least decent with time management, y'all, because you have to find a balance between doing your business and also living your life. If you're always doing business or always out here doing whatever, something's not going to be successful, right? Whether it's your life or whether it's your business. We want to have both. And so we have to be really good stewards of our time, especially, and I get there are outliers, but as women in business, a lot of us are moms, a lot of us are wives or partners, whatever you want to call it. A lot of us volunteer, whether it be at our church, local organizations, maybe we're part of a sorority or other groups. We are busy folk. And it's just important that we do feed ourselves. We have time for the things that matter outside of business, but that we also are planning appropriately so those things are not negatively impacting the business as well. There has to be somewhat of a balance. I never say that it's 50-50, but there has to be some type of balance there. You have to be willing to take care of yourself. Self care is just so important. It just really is. Guys, if you've been watching me, you know I do my high maintenance, low maintenance days. And it's funny, a lot of my friends have kind of created their own version of that, but it's just important. And mine is going to look different from the next person, but I always try to find time just to take care of me. I knew I was going out of town this past weekend. Friday, I was in here looking crazy, y'all. Like trying to clean up the house, trying to do different things so that when I got back, I knew I was only going to have a little bit of time on Sunday to do stuff for me. I still got in the tub yesterday. I took a nap. I ordered my groceries ahead of time. My husband was so nice to put them away. But like I was like, okay, what can I do to make sure that I'm still set up for the week? Because I know I'm going to be busy. And then even when I was gone, I was like, at least I'm going to hop in the pool and just enjoy myself for a bit, even though I was there for a work trip. So self-care cannot be more overstated. Set some clear boundaries within your business and in your personal life. Those are going to help you as well. I get sometimes boundaries can be hard because people feel some type of way when they're told no or wait or this is how things have to be done. But once you set those clear boundaries and once you set them, I promise things will be easier. And sometimes, especially for older folk, I've had to explain why the boundary is the way it is. But once I say it, it is what it is. And so I want you guys to be comfortable setting boundaries in your business and in your personal life because those are going to help you grow in both of those areas as well. Make sure you're also taking regular self assessments, personal self assessments, and business self assessments. If you have not done a SWOT analysis, it's SWOT. It stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I do encourage you to do so. I would recommend at least once a year because it helps you really sit down and take a snapshot of where you are. It allows you to really plan some goals and some action items around what you're trying to accomplish. It's not as huge and as daunting as like a business plan, but it allows you to really, like I said, look and say, okay, what's really going on? When I break it all down, what's really going on? And I encourage clients to do this, like I said, every single year. But again, it'll help you grow because you'll see the facts are on the paper. You'll see, oh, these are the strengths I currently have in business and in my personal life. These are some areas of weakness that I need to work on. There's some room for opportunities that I'm probably not tapping into it, optimally. And then there's also some threats to my success that I need to put some things in place so that those don't stop my progress. All right. And then last but not least, to be a successful entrepreneur, to grow as a leader, and to grow in your personal life and to grow in your business, I encourage you to seek mentorship and to seek a coach. And those are two different things. Now, can somebody be a mentor to you and be a coach? Yes. But the tasks of a mentor and the tasks of a coach are different. I encourage every woman in business to have a business coach. They are not all the same. And so I think some people are like, well, I have a coach. And it's like, okay, what does that coach do for you? Because I'm seeing a lot of gaps in your support. You may need more than one, right? I change coaches pretty much every year because I'm focusing on something new every year. If I did the program the way I should have did the program, then I should have gotten what I needed to get out of that. And now moving on to the next thing I need to get. So if you've been with the same coach for 3 years and you haven't progressed, it may be time I get you like them and y'all have a good time together and they make you feel great. But it may be time to get a new coach in your corner, or it may be time to add a coach, right? It's important that you understand what you need. Speaking of that, I mentioned it last week because it had just launched, and I'll make myself smaller on the screen. We heard from you guys, right? We've been doing coaching programs now for a couple of years. We've gotten really great feedback. Clients have made amazing progress. However, some individuals really wanted something a little more affordable and that focused on implementation. They understand that they have a product or service. They understand that they're an expert. However, they really needed those hands-on practical skills, right? They needed to know how to set up their website, how to create a challenge, how to make a landing page, how to get it from their target audience, how to make the business plan, how to edit their videos, whatever the case may be. We created this program, the Action Accelerator Academy, for small business owners, women business owners, just like yourselves. We're opening it up during this inaugural phase for 20 ready to go business owners, right? And what do I mean by ready to go? You are ready to take action now. If you are sitting back there stuck in mindset world, I wish you the best. There are other things that I have that are free that can support you as you learn and grow about yourself and your business. But this is for individuals who are like, I know that this year is the year that my business will progress. I know that I am willing to do the work. I understand that my budget is tight. However, I will do anything and everything to make sure that I am successful and that I support the audience I was meant to support. That is who this program is for. We have it set up that you have access to a toolkit. It's not a course because I want you to get in and get what you need and get out of there. But it's made so that people who are just starting out have support, people who are in that building stage have support, and people who are in the scaling stage will have support. We also have weekly Q&A calls where you actually get to speak to me, not just some random person, but me, and ask questions specific to your business. Maybe you went through a part of the toolkit, you have a question, you want me to look at something, give you feedback. That'll be for the Q&A calls. We also have weekly trainings within this community. It's a private community. It's a paid community. And only those who are taking action now are in there, but you will get weekly trainings. We also have it set up that you're going to have access to master classes. We have some previously recorded master classes from last year that now will only be available for those who are in this program or who are in one of our other coaching programs. We also have virtual events that will be there. We also have tools and guides and lots of additional trainings that'll be available just to these individuals. So applications are open. We decided instead of people getting to just book a call and talk to me about this, we're going to find the best candidates for this program. It is made super affordable. There's 2 payment options available. There's a paid in full and a monthly plan. You get 12 months to work with me. No, we're not doing 90 days. No, we're not doing 6 months. We realize that people need time to do the things they need to do. This whole program is about taking action. Everything we do is about taking action. And the cool part is our team has designed this program that over the next 12 months that we work with this inaugural group, we will be adding more things. So as they tell me like, hey, I really would love this in the program, I would really love a training on this, we'll be adding that. So I will say this, because we're adding more things throughout the year, those who come in after the inaugural class will have a bigger investment. And that's only fair. But those who get in now, 20 amazing candidates. And like I said, we just launched this product last week. So applications are coming in. We've been checking them. We're planning to check them, I should say, every week. And so we fill up first come, first serve of the best and qualified candidates. But definitely check it out. The link is in the description of this video, wherever you're watching it, but also it is on the screen. Go ahead, check it out. That link gets you to the landing page where it explains pretty much everything about the program. You'll see all that entails. You'll see the investment. You'll see who it's for, who it's not for, testimonials, all that fun stuff. And then the application is linked there. Fill out the application. It will give you instruction. But I'm excited about this program. This was something that we've been thinking about and working with for some time now because we knew people really wanted access to the kind of coaching that I do. Not everybody's an implementation coach. I find that most people are not. And so we wanted to provide that. And so while this is a group coaching program, it's a very small group coaching program, meaning you're still having so much access and so much hands-on support. So take advantage now. Because I want to help as many amazing people as I can, but we are capping this particular group to 20 people during the inaugural period, which will last over the next 90 days or so. So you got a little bit of time, but not a lot of time, because if 20 people come this week, then you got to luck. But I wanted to give you kind of an outline. We'll be talking more about this program. You'll see a lot of things about it in the near future. Feel free to reach out if you have a question, a comment, or concern. Me and my team are standing waiting to help you and support you as you decide if this is a good program for you. But all right, guys, with that being said, I talked way too much today, but it's okay. Remember, join us here every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And remember, I rock, you rock, we all rock. And we will talk to you guys next week. All right. Have a great night. We'll talk to you soon. In the journey of entrepreneurship, success is often about having the right guidance and tools at your fingertips. Welcome to iRock Marketable Business Solutions, your compass to business excellence. We understand that as a service-based small business owner, your path to success is unique. That's why iRock offers a wide range of coaching and consulting services tailored to your needs. Imagine gaining the knowledge you need from the comfort of your own home. Explore our quick on-demand webinars, courses, and toolkits designed to accelerate your business growth. But we go beyond that. Join our vibrant community in our group coaching programs, or experience personalized guidance with our one-on-one coaching and consulting services. At iRock, every program comes with incredible bonuses. These bonuses are designed to support you on your journey, helping you bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Some of our bonuses include expert speaker sessions, group Q&A calls, guides, checklists, scripts, and more. Ready to supercharge your business journey? Explore our coaching and consulting services. Get the guidance and tools you need to reach your goals. Empower your business with iRock Marketable Business Solutions.